This is News Today with WDW News Today. I'm Allison of WDWNT.com, and here now are the top Disney park stories from around the world for July 15th, 2022. According to a report from Business Insider, the transition to Bob Chapek as CEO of the Walt Disney Company did not go as former CEO Bob Iger had planned. According to the report, Iger had intended to spend his last year as CEO of Disney on a global goodbye tour, but this was canceled due to COVID-19. Iger had already selected Bob Chapek as his successor, and he intended to mentor him during his final years with the company. Unfortunately, Iger and Chapek had different ideas about how to deal with the pandemic, how the company should be structured, and Disney's politics. Iger remains unhappy with how the transition was handled, said an insider familiar with his thinking. Iger has spoken out against some of Chapek's decisions over the past few months in particular. They reportedly had a falling out and no longer speak. According to someone at Allen & Company's Sun Valley Mogul Retreat last week, Chapek and Iger exchanged a greeting but did not talk more. Iger was originally contracted to stay on as CEO through 2021, but stepped down from the role in early 2020. Quote, "It was Bob Iger's desire to move the timeline up, and if COVID hadn't happened, none of the stuff between would have transpired," said a Disney executive. The board was surprised. It was several months before his departure date. He got tired of all the things you have to do. He really wanted to play around with creative and not worry about all the business crap. The other insider familiar with Iger's thinking disputed this, saying Iger was still engaged with the business, but felt it was a good time for the handoff, considering the successful launch of Disney+. Iger still remained pretty hands-on after February 2020 as COVID-19 hit the USA. Another insider indicates that this was, quote, "a slap in the face" to Chapek. Iger remained chairman of the board through 2021. The board was reportedly unhappy with Iger's succession plan. A former Disney executive called it, quote, "a notable failure." The board suggested other candidates, but Iger pushed for Chapek. They also suggested making Chapek a COO first, while Iger remains CEO for longer. The Iger insider says Iger, quote, "greatly regretted choosing Chapek as his successor, quote, as soon as COVID hit. If he had known and understood the scope of the pandemic, he never would have stepped down when he did," another former Disney executive said. Iger is currently writing a book about leadership in unprecedented times. The Disney board recently voted unanimously to renew Chapek's contract for another 3 years. Walt Disney Imagineering has filed a permit for the long-delayed Play Pavilion at EPCOT. This new pavilion will take over what was once the Wonders of Life Pavilion. It was first announced in 2019 and was originally supposed to open for the 50th anniversary of Walt Disney World, but we haven't heard much about it since COVID-19 hit. The permit description is simply General Contractor Package. Balfour Beatty Construction is named as the contractor. The expiration date of the permit is December 31st, 2024, possibly giving us a hint that the Play Pavilion won't open until 2025. They could obviously just be building some fluff time into the permit, so it's certainly possible Play could be open sooner than that. While the structure received an entirely new roof in 2021, any other construction that might have taken place has been out of view. News Today is brought to you by the Sunshine Flyer, the new 1920s rail-themed transportation from Orlando International Airport to Walt Disney World Resorts. Start your vacation experience as soon as you step off the plane with motor coaches that create the atmosphere of old-fashioned passenger cars. No two vehicle designs are the same. And just in time for summer, kids ride free. If you book your trip now through July 31st, you can enjoy free tickets for kids and reduced pricing for adults. Tickets do not need to be used during this time frame. To reserve, visit sunshineflyer.com. The Skyway Bridge that connects the main building of Disney's Contemporary Resort and the adjacent Bay Lake Tower will be closed for a brief refurbishment from July 18th to the 20th. The bridge lets guests staying at Bay Lake Tower, a Disney Vacation Club building, walk directly from the 5th floor to the Grand Canyon Concourse of the main building. The concourse, otherwise known as the main building's 4th floor, is home to gift shops, dining, and elevators to the monorail station. The EPCOT International Food and Wine Festival opened yesterday, and we have tried everything. For reviews, pictures of the food, and more, check out our website. And we will have a food review video here soon on our YouTube channel. We even have good things to say about the Italy booth this year. While we covered just about everything there was to know surrounding the illustrious Sublight Lounge aboard the Star Wars Galactic Starcruiser when it first opened in March, we were quite surprised to learn that yet another cocktail has joined the mix, so to speak, and it's quite a looker. The Crate Reactor is essentially 4 dragon fruit vanilla margaritas attached to a Lazy Susan-style holder that bears a resemblance to a ship's reactor. Attached to the structure are the 4 straws with which guests may drink their concoction. Fear not, each guest has their own portion. There is no sharing unless you do so yourself. According to Brenna Egan, who was the first to try the new drink, it debuted in the early morning hours of July 9th and is available now to all guests who dine at the Sublight Lounge aboard the Halcyon. The drink sells for $79. Mesdames et messieurs, it is with deepest pride and greatest pleasure that we welcome you tonight to EPCOT. In honor of the 2022 EPCOT International Food and Wine Festival kicking off, a brand new beacon of magic, appropriately themed to Be Our Guest, has debuted on Spaceship Earth. And naturally, we were there to catch the new show. The show features Lumiere and Mrs. Potts singing Be Our Guest, but both in French and English. To see the full show, check it out right here on our YouTube channel. Disneyland Paris celebrated Bastille Day, France's national day, on July 14th. Typically, they would put on a fireworks spectacular in celebration, but it was canceled due to COVID-19 restrictions in 2020 and 2021. Now it has returned to the skies above the park, and with drones to become the first ever Disney fireworks spectacular to use drones. Tom Corliss was in Disneyland Paris to capture it all, and the full video is here on our channel. Speaking of Disneyland Paris, Tom will be there all weekend with previews of Avengers Campus, so stay tuned for regular updates from Paris. It's almost time for spooky season at Tokyo Disney Resort, and the Oriental Land Company has revealed the happenings for this year's still watered down Disney Halloween 2022, which takes place at both Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea from September 15th through October 31st. Following a 3-year absence, the spooky Boo Parade will return to the parade route around Tokyo Disneyland with some changes. As the resort currently does not have parade dancers, only characters and their floats will be present with walking units and all dancers excluded. Additionally, the show stop will not be performed. In this parade, the ghosts have invited guests and the Disney friends to a spooky version of Tokyo Disneyland, and they want you along for the ride. Additionally, a second program using the spooky Boo Parade floats will take place during another time of day, presumably the evening. The Villains Rockin' Halloween, which sees the villains take over the floats and invite guests to their more sinister celebration. The Haunted Mansion Holiday Nightmare will finally return to Tokyo Disneyland, itself absent for 3 years, from September 14th, 2022 through January 4th, 2023. Over at Tokyo Disney Sea, Festival of Mystique will not be returning as its barges were scrapped after only 1 year of performing. In lieu of harbor shows, which still have yet to return, Tokyo Disney Sea will instead present the Halloween Harbor Greeting, which will feature the Disney friends in their Festival of Mystique costumes sailing around the harbor to greet guests and do a very short dance at the 3 main viewing areas. This is essentially the same format we've seen since July 2020 for these greetings, just with different costumes and soundtrack. There are several other announcements related to merchandise and more, and you can read about it on our website. For the absolute latest Disney Parks news, head on over to WDWNT.com and follow us on your favorite social media platforms. This program is brought to you by our official travel agent sponsor, The Vacationeer, the engineers of your next magical vacation. Sit back and let their team of vacation planning experts craft your family's next magical Disney trip. The best part is their services are free. Visit WDWNT.travel for details. You can support the entire team behind this show and others by joining the WDWNT Interglobe Society at patreon.com/WDWNT. Get access to exclusive content, discounted shows, and event tickets, and more. A special shout out to all the WIGS members watching who make this show happen every week. If you're enjoying the show, be sure to like this video, subscribe to WDW News Today on YouTube for more content, click the bell for notifications, hit select all notifications so you never miss an episode of News Today with WDW News Today. For the worldwide leader in Disney Parks news, this is Allison saying enjoy the rest of your today and have a great, big, beautiful tomorrow.
It's time to adjust that set and turn that dial to WDWNT TV, our new channel where some of your favorite programming from the WDW News Today YouTube channel is heading. If you want to continue to see Boxed In on Fridays, Park Center on Sundays, and as well our Thursday night comedy variety show WDW News Tonight, you'll have to catch them at their new home, WDWNT TV. It's easy to subscribe. Just put in the URL, WDWNT.tv, hit subscribe, and make sure you get those notifications. Again, is the only way you'll be able to continue to see these great shows as they are moving away from the WDW News Today channel permanently. We hope to see you over there at our new home, WDWNT TV. We now return you to your regularly scheduled programming.